What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about American things that are secretly Canadian. So, here in the United States, we definitely like to think that we do everything and that we are just responsible for everything cool and great and that we invented everything and everybody important is from here and that we are just the greatest ever. But apparently, there are a lot of things that we think are American that are actually Canadian. So today, I really want to learn more about this and I guess see if my whole world gets flipped upside down or something here. So let's take a look, starting with basketball? Basketball is Canadian? I mean, like, no offense or anything, but I thought, like, the United States, we take a lot of pride in basketball. Let me put it that way. And I think we're pretty good at it. You know, the United States has some of the best basketball players in the entire world. And I don't think it's too out of line to say that, like, the United States is known for basketball, not really Canada. But as far as are we talking about where it was invented? We must be. While synonymous with American sports culture, yes, it is incredibly popular here. Basketball was invented by Dr. James Naismith, a Canadian physical educator. What? With his frickin' look at that picture with his volleyball and his basket. He just whipped up one of the like most popular sports ever. He was really cooking that day. He created the game in 1891 in Springfield, Massachusetts. So, oh, interesting. This is like a loophole. This is a Canadian who happened to reside in the United States. So, do we get any credit at all for that? I don't know. He was seeking an indoor activity to keep his students active during the harsh winter months. And so he couldn't like do hockey, which I'm sure his Canadian bones were begging him to in gym class to get the Americans in Massachusetts to do some hockey. So he just invented basketball? That is unbelievable. I don't know, like I wonder if there's other examples of sports that are invented in one country or invented by in this case it's like a weird. It was invented in America by a Canadian guy, which is really interesting. Um, and yet it's like synonymous with American sports culture. That's pretty unbelievable. I would think most Americans have no idea. Kind of like Superman. That I think most Americans would be in denial about this. Superman, that's like the most American icon you can possibly think of. Like, seriously. Like, what is going on? The Man of Steel, arguably the most iconic American superhero, has deep Canadian roots. Are you kidding me right now? He was co created by artist Joe Shuster, who was born in Toronto. In fact, the skyline of Metropolis, where Superman lives, was originally modeled after Toronto. No way. I don't. Maybe some things are best kept as secrets. I don't think Americans are ready for this information. I don't think we can handle it. Basketball, made by a Canadian. Superman, made by a Canadian. These are some of the things we hold nearest and dearest in our little American hearts. Um, Daily Planet newspaper was inspired by the Toronto Star, where Schuster once worked as a paperboy. I mean, what? So, Superman is DC, right? Because I was thinking like, oh, Marvel, that's Stan Lee. I thought he's American, but this is DC Superman, and I don't know who made all that. Well, Obviously, Superman was made by co-created by Joe Shuster, Canadian. Unbelievable that Canadians have just whipped up like some of the biggest, most iconic cultural things in American history. That's unbelievable, actually. Okay. And then we have the California roll. Okay, nothing. Is nothing real? Nothing makes sense. I can't trust anything anymore. It's in the name. California roll. What? Was it not made by a Californian or something? Or despite its name suggesting a sunny West Coast origin in the United States, this sushi staple was invented in Vancouver? Why is it called the California roll? Chef Hidekazu Tojo created the inside out roll in the 1970s to hide the seaweed, which many of his North American customers were hesitant to eat. It became a global sensation and an American sensation. I don't really eat sushi, but even I know about like the California roll. And it's got the rice on the outside, so like even our simple American palates can digest the concept. Like, oh, it's rice, because seaweed is too scary for us. Hawaiian pizza? Again, it's in the name, Hawaii. Like, that's in the United States. What's going on? These are genuinely, like, baffling to me. The most controversial pizza topping, true, pineapple, was not the brainchild of a Hawaiian chef, but rather a Greek Canadian. Yeah, you would think it'd be by, like, some Hawaiian person. Sam Panopoulos invented the Hawaiian pizza at his satellite restaurant in Chatham, Ontario, in 1962. He named it after the brand of canned pineapple he used. What do you mean you... Oh! Sparking a debate. So the brand of the pineapple was Hawaiian? That's why it's the Hawaiian pizza. Oh, I like that there's a little explanation for that, because it's like, why'd this Canadian choose Hawaiian as the name? Just because of the brand name. Interesting. I'm not overly attached to like Hawaiian pizza, like I care about basketball or Superman. So this one I can like accept. I will force myself to accept. It's secretly Canadian. IMAX. That's interesting because a lot of Americans love IMAX. It's really cool technology, but I don't know if I would have associated this with America. I think a lot of Americans would just assume it's made in the United States just because movies and Hollywood are really big in the US. And a lot of Americans would assume this is an American thing, but this big screen movie experience is a Canadian innovation developed by Graham Ferguson, Roman Kreuter, Robert Kerr, and William Shaw. This technology debuted at the Expo 67 in Montreal. It revolutionized cinema by using a larger film format and specialized projectors to create an immersive experience. Yeah, it does. That's really cool. Canada, I don't think you get enough credit. As a matter of fact, I know you don't. You do not get enough credit, especially here in the US, for making a lot of the cool stuff that we like. Like peanut butter. Peanut butter? Peanut butter? But we were taught about this in school. We were taught this is George Washington Carver, and he grinded up his peanuts or whatever and invented the telephone, or maybe that was another guy. Or well, George Washington Carver, yeah, exactly. He is often associated with peanuts. The actual patent for creating a peanut paste, the precursor to modern peanut butter, belongs to a Canadian? I can't even speak. This is too much for me. You got us on a technicality. The best way to get us. Montreal pharmacist Marcellus Gilmore Edson obtained the patent in 1884. So he developed a peanut paste, grinding up peanuts into paste. You can patent that? You can just patent anything. He originally developed the paste as a nutritious food option for people who had difficulty chewing food. Cool. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, in America, we're literally taught George Washington Carver, like grinded up peanuts and made peanut butter, and like I remember that in school. I don't know why they focus so much on that lesson, but I remember that one. But like if you grind up peanuts into paste and patent it, you invented peanut butter. I gotta hand it to you. You did. I hate to admit it. The Wonder Bra? The Wonder Bra. Is this an American thing? I don't know anything about this. This iconic piece of lingerie, often associated with American fashion. I have heard of it, the Wonder Bra. I don't know. For research purposes, I might have to learn about, where you get these sort of things, or, what they look like, just so I know, so I can stay away, right? So just so you, okay. American fashion history, I have heard of it, was actually trademarked and developed in Montreal. Wow. The Canadian company Canadel created the first Wonder Bra. Joking aside, I don't really know what makes a Wonder Bra a Wonder Bra, like some kind of weird support that it gives or technology in the bra. I don't know. It was in 1939. It wasn't until the 1990s the brand exploded in the US and globally. It is a household name. Um, and I would think for people who know more about it, like probably women, this would be more surprising. I'm not like totally baffled that this random bra is like made by a Canadian in Montreal. Okay. And Trivial Pursuit. No way. Trivial Pursuit. This is such a big part of like my childhood, and I did always kind of assume this was an American thing. I don't know why, because it had a lot of like American history in it, I guess. This game that like every American knows is was made by a Canadian? This game tests your general knowledge, was born out of a missing Scrabble piece. Created by journalists Chris Haney and Scott Abbott in Montreal in 1979, Trivial Pursuit went to sell millions of copies worldwide, becoming a staple of American game nights. It is. I remember this. I even remember the little pie pieces that you put in the thingy to win. And yeah, good times. I had no idea. I was enjoying a Canadian invention the entire time, even at a young age. Well, obviously, there's a lot of things in American culture that the thing is, we think of these as like Americana, staples of Americanness, of American culture. A lot of these things, seriously. And we just have no idea that they're actually like brought to us by Canadians, invented by Canadians, or in Canada. And there's something very cool about that. Also very deceptive, like my life is a lie in some ways. But if anybody's going to invent cool stuff for us, I'm glad it's like Canada. So thanks. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these American things that are actually Canadian. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and seeing Canadian things I've never seen before or never learned about, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.